take the European view. First, we all knew from day one that this war was bad economic news, less growth and more inflation. And this is the price we accepted together to pay to protect our values, to be at the side of Ukraine and democracy. It was worth probably paying this price. We now know a bit more about the effects in Europe. About activity, and this is why I would disagree with Jane, at least so far. Activity is obviously less buoyant than at the end of last year. We had a growth in the euro area of more than 5%, 7% in France, so it was really record high. But it's resilient. If you look at German IFO this morning or at Banque de France monthly surveys, and the IMF forecast for the euro area this year was 2.7%. We'll see where we are, but it's still significantly positive. By the way, services are in better shape than industry, so it's an opposite image if you compare to COVID. So the main problem, at least in the short run, is inflation, without any doubt. And inflation in the euro area is not only higher, even is slightly less high than in the US, but 7.4%. But it's also broader, and this is probably the main issue. Core inflation is 3.4%. And this is why we have to normalize monetary policy. Without any doubt, it's what President Christine Lagarde said very clearly this morning. There is an increasing consensus in our governing council about the start of the journey. Let me say one word about our aim at the end of the journey, at least in 2 years, 24. We will bring inflation back towards 2%. And this is not only in all our forecasts. Look at all forecasts, including from the IMF. But it's our commitment. And we will do it through normalization of monetary policy and not tightening. I will perhaps elaborate on that. It's a normalization. The question of growth will come back. But I would play down the idea of a short-term trade-off between inflation and growth. In the short run, our priority is clearly, as you reminded, fighting inflation. And we will do it.
So, Governor, very clear answer. Can you be equally clear with this answer? Are rate hikes in July and August now a done deal?
In August, we have no meeting, Jeff.
September? Well, you can have an emergency meeting at any point.
Side.
Well,
but do you want me to elaborate? No.
July and September.
Perhaps a general consideration. Attention is focusing very much on the short term. When will we precisely end net asset purchases? When will we have the first rate hike? All of this is important, but frankly, if you look at President Lagarde's statement this morning, the deal is probably done because there is a growing consensus. I think that the next steps of the journey are now more important. I made a speech 2 weeks ago about a possible roadmap going towards neutral rate and yes, achieving 2% in 24. I wouldn't over-focus on what will precisely happen in July, September, etc.